Hi, everybody in Humble Nation. This is July the 22nd, and we're coming on a Thursday. And I wanted to say a quick hi, and as always, follow me on Twitter. This is useful because sometimes I get some good ideas from people either on Twitter or emailing me. And I'm going to be talking tonight in part about a conversation I had with one of our fellow members of Humble Nation, and I was talking last night with a fellow Art from Calgary, Canada, and we were talking about midnight last night, and I'm going to tell you somewhat if he told me about an interesting stock, and Humble Nation tends to like the inexpensive stocks. And this one is inexpensive. And this one is potentially a, good growth story. I'm not giving it the good housekeeping seal of approval yet. I need to learn more. It was last night at midnight. I'm also going to see if our friend Art will do an interview. So I'll look to do because he's been following this and has a lot more detail. But I think that's something. But I will be introducing you to the stock a little later on today. In the meantime, let's take a look at what we did do in Humble Nation. And you can see it was just a bounce up and down. Looked like we're riding on a back road without any shock absorbers. Up and down, up and down. Spent the whole day kind of spinning our wheels and not really going anywhere. As I said, it's somewhat the summer doldrums, and there is no real news to speak of to drive the stock in any particular direction. The volume was a light 1.87 million shares. Not much to write home to mom about. The 10-day average was, is over 9 million. So there you go. One of the things that I would share with you relative to Humble, and you may have seen this, but in case you didn't, our friend Vandalay, I love that name, Twitter handle, Vandalay Industries, which of course comes from Seinfeld, and published this article, or posted, I should say, this article on Twitter by Alex Lowe, written on the 18th. Humble beginnings, attack of the shorts, and don't we know it? So you can go through and basically, in a nutshell, one of the things he points out how there are a number of bad players. In fact, as I was talking to our friend last night on the phone from Canada, I was just saying that when I talk about, virtually have never invested in penny stocks over the years, and Humble is the exception. And the fact of the matter is, I didn't have to put up when I was buying something on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, didn't have to put up with all this short business and people writing articles, as we see here, with the phony baloney their fronts apparently for this is shorts, and yet what he says here, Mr. Lowe, who writes the article, is at first he kind of felt cheated, but guess what, he's came back to the fold, and you can read the article. It's on Twitter. The other thing that came up the other day on Twitter, which was interesting, is this young man who is in Nigeria, and he likes to draw people with pieces of charcoal, and obviously a very talented guy. And I've done some artwork in the past, and I'll tell you what, I think he did a hell of a job. And the folds in the jacket, that is not easy to do. I have struggled with that over the years. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'll say it's Dauda Abuzo. It's hard to read. When you have it on a screen here, I'm looking at about 4-point type. But here he is, and Brian Foote responded, and said what I was thinking, which is, this kid ought to be developing some of his artwork and creating NFTs. He's in Nigeria. And, without even joking about it, this brings up a good point that, here, this young man, amazing, isn't it, that he's in Nigeria? He knows who Brian Foote is. I don't know how that, obviously the internet, and he's on Twitter. And so he's out there. Good for you. Nice artwork, young man. And, if we can have people around the world on marketplace or doing their NFTs and selling them, that's part of what the promise of Humbl is about. Bringing a young guy like this, a young man who has talent, and he's out there in Africa, in Nigeria. And, part of what Humbl is, it's not just the app, and being able to send money. It's being able to create an online virtual marketplace so that this young man can have the ability to do his artwork and sell it. If you're in a poor neighborhood, this is going to be kind of obvious, but let me point it out. Things are obvious after you point them out. If you are in a poor neighborhood, in this case, let's say where he lives, and you're trying to sell something, who are the buyers? The buyers don't have much money. You take that same artwork, that same young artist, and you bring him to New York City, you bring him to London, someplace where there is money, Tokyo, and guess what? That artwork's going to go for a heck of a lot more money. So part of what I'm talking about tonight, and I'm just using this as an illustration, pun intended, that this is what Humbl's about. It's about being able to connect people to a marketplace. And for all of us who live in developed first world nations, Japan, France, Germany, America, Canada, we don't get it because we've been connected. We don't realize, we don't see the extent to which so many other people around the world are disconnected from the marketplace like that. So this is the promise of Humbl, folks, and part of what makes it special, and part of what is, the reason why this can grow and grow so tremendously. So now, going back to my Canadian friend who called me, let me bring in, dun, da, 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 the little drum roll, please. Here is the stock he was telling me about. Big Digital Asset. How's that for a name? BIGG. And the American stock symbol, in case you're in Canada or else, is BB. B as in boy. BBKCF. You can see there it went up slightly today. And this is a one-day chart. Did about the same volume as Humbl, 1.7 million. Let's take a look at where it's been over the last 5 days. Up pretty well. It was at looks like about 68 cents on, what is that, the 20th, I guess. This is a company, according to my friend in Canada, in Calgary, that as it trades some of the coins. It trades the I want to use the word Bitcoin as a generic, but it trades the digital currencies. And so as he was saying, as the Bitcoins go up, the coin exchange, this is the marketplace, and it allows people to buy and sell. And so as coin values go up, and of course Bitcoin has been down of late, down to about 30,000, went below 30,000 the other day. I didn't see where it went. Trying to see if I have it in front of me here, and I don't. But this will go up. So here you got a 6 month. If we look at this 1 year, not much different here. It just started and goes back to January. So folks, this is it, and we're going to give more information about this. If you scroll down, there is an article right there. And what it says is, boom, that Big Digital Assets announces record quarterly revenue of approximately 4.6 million and 880% year-over-year growth. Now, that's impressive, and this is why we want to, like I said, I'm not giving it the good housekeeping seal of approval yet. I want to learn more, check it out. I just, got the word about it before, or last night. And let's take a look at this. So it says, as you can read along here, that Big Digital Asset Management, owner of Netcoins, the online cryptocurrency brokerage that makes it easy for Canadians to buy, sell, and understand cryptocurrencies, and owner of Blockchain Intelligence Group, a leading developer of blockchain technology search, risk scoring, and data analysis solutions, announces their second quarter earnings. $4.6 million. It says they're approximately $4.6 million. I think the fact that they're up 880% is pretty impressive. It also says that active users reached 18,000 in the second quarter, growing 40% from one quarter to the next, and up 1,880% year over year. Registered users are now over 80%. Individual transactions grew by 32% quarter over quarter and 1,400% year over year. Let me say that again. The active individual transactions, trades, grew 1,400% year over year. Trading margins continue to track above 1%. So it says for Bitcoin Intelligence Group, revenue in the second quarter grew approximately 400,000, if I'm reading that right. Let me see here. It's hard to say. Yeah, it grew approximately 400,000, up 33% quarter over quarter. So, folks, what you're seeing here is, I know a lot of people in humble nations, which I understand. You want to buy some inexpensive stocks, and this is one that might be something that you want to consider. That certainly what we're seeing is some growth. As I've said, I'm not pounding the table on this. There are certain times, and not often, that I, pound the table and say, buy this now. Because the pendulum, I do that when the pendulum swings so far to one side, and that's why I was pounding the table back in November on oil. It's like, are you kidding me? How many times are we going to close down the world economy? And then when we had the vaccines that were going to be reopening the world, that was obvious. Not everything is obvious, and I'm not saying that this is obvious, so I don't want to lead you astray. But I think that when you're talking about something that is growing at this level, and that you can buy in at a buck, buck and change, you can invest accordingly, which by that I mean don't put in money that you can't afford to lose. But if you want to, stick your toe in the water here, given some of the earnings that we are seeing being reported and the growth being reported, and it's also part of the same reason that we're following Humbl and excited about that. It is a growth play in the realm of the whole digital transformation. In this case, it is it's a Coinbase platform, exchange. And so it kind of, as I was saying to Art last night, you remember the story of all the miners that went out to California in the 1849 gold rush. And the guy that really made money wasn't a miner, it was Levi Strauss, who made blue jeans for the miners. So they're not the Bitcoin people, but they're an exchange, and it's kind of analogous to that in my mind. So that's what I have for you tonight. I hope that's exciting for you. And as I said, Art and Arthur, we are going to arrange to do an interview, and he can provide you more background on what he knows on big digital asset. BB, boy, BBK, C as in Charlie, F as in Frank. And with that, folks, we'll let you go do what you're going to do for the evening. Hopefully, you can look back over the end of 2021 and say, man, it started off rough, but it ended on a great year, and you're happy with the things that you picked up along the way. I know I'm happy to be talking to you about it, and we'll be in touch tomorrow night. See you then.